Howdy, hi. It is Do Your Job Sports College Football Week 5 Picks and Predictions Part 2. We're looking at some of the best bets of the week. Let's get into the video. All right, first game we got in both of these games, actually, we're going to rock with the MAC team. First one, it is Ohio. If you have watched the previous week's videos, this should be no surprise. So far this year, we are 3-0 betting Ohio with or against the spread. So we're going to take them here to kick off their MAC season, minus 9.5 against a weaker Bowling Green team. I think they're going to destroy them. Bowling Green 2-2 on the year. They beat Liberty, who might be awful at football this season, and then an FCS team in Lafayette. Their two losses, two decent schools, Cincinnati on the road, Louisville on the road. The Louisville one is, the final score is a bit misleading. They were down 30-3 in the start of the fourth quarter. And then Louisville decided to pull all of their starters, put their backups in the game, and then Bowling Green got a pity 14 points in a backdoor cover at the end. That is not going to happen here. Ohio will not be pulling their starters. You will see C.J. Bangura, Parker Navarro, their entire defense in for the entire game. And I think Bowling Green does not stand a chance. Bowling Green on the season, they averaged just 315 yards per game on offense. That's bottom 20 in the country. Their defense, it's decent, but their stats are slightly skewed by the fact they won a game 26-7 over Lafayette, who was an FCS school. And I think their only touchdown in that game was a kick return for a touchdown. So, yeah, defense heavily skewed. Ohio, much more battle-tested, 2-2 record. They have played 3 Power 4 schools. They won against West Virginia. Last week, they got a victory against Gardner-Webb, but we did not take them on the spread because they were laying a ridiculous number. I think they were laying like 28. You should never be laying 28 points as a MAC school. I don't care who you're playing. You are a MAC school. So they didn't cover the number, but who cares? Their other 2 losses came to Rutgers by 3 in week 1 of the season, then Ohio State by 28 last week. 2 weeks ago, sorry. They played good against Ohio State. That was a very good showing. So that kind of riled up some confidence in me and my boys. If you consider their opponents, consider this as Bowling Green's first road MAC game of the season, I think they're about to get fucked up. Give me Ohio minus 9.5. All right, next game we got, it is MAC team number 2. We're going to go with Northern Illinois. This is their final season in the MAC. We're going to take them at home against San Diego State. San Diego State is fraudulent as all get out. They're coming off of a home win, little brother spot playing against Cal. This is their first time headed out east, even though it's not that far east, but it's as far east as they're probably going to go. I think they're going to get messed up. San Diego State 2-1 on the year. They beat Stony Brook for week 1 of the season, who is an awful FCS program, 42-0. They beat Cal last week, 34-0. Probably the surprise of last week. Their loss came on the road to Washington State, who is not good this year, and they lost 36-13. So it would appear as though San Diego State, decent at home, horrible when they hit the road. Here, they are hitting the road. Their game against Washington State, where they lost, they allowed 400 yards on defense. They only managed 215 yards themselves on offense. That is horrible. Northern Illinois 1-2 on the year. Their losses at Maryland by 11 points, and then on the road to Mississippi State by 28. That was a greasy game. Week 1 they played against the Crusaders of Holy Cross. If you watch the basketball videos, you are very aware of Holy Cross. Mississippi State game, that game was actually closer than 28. It was a 4-point game at halftime. And then Mississippi State must have had a very inspiring talk in the locker room because they put belt to ass and put it on them. But this is the same coach for NIU who went into Notre Dame last year and won. He lost both of his coordinators, but he kept some of the guys on the team. Still the same head coach. I trust him at home. San Diego State sucks. Give me NIU plus 100 on a shmoney line. All right, next game we got. This one's probably the grossest game that I'm going to lay it with here. Give me Stanford minus 2.5 at home. Stanford, they're 1-0 at home this year. If you were to just not look at the rest of their record, you think that would be pretty good. Unfortunately, they have lost 3 other road games, majority of them have not been close. San Jose State almost lost to an FCS school at home last week. They lost to Central Michigan week 1, 16-14. They suck. Their win last week over Idaho, 31-28. Awful. They allowed them to go for 384 total yards of offense. Neither of these two teams has a good offense or defense, so I will take the home favorite, Stanford -2.5. Stanford, 1-3 on the year, coming off of a 28-point road loss to Virginia. Honestly, not even that bad. Like, first time out east the entire season. Virginia looks really good at football this year. 28 points, kind of understandable. Their only win of the season came at home against Boston College. There were 10.5-point dogs in that game. They won outright. They ran the ball for 213 yards. They won the time of possession by 5 minutes. They have a good head coach. I like their quarterback. He's a veteran. I think they get a big win here before their bye week. Next game we got, it is Big Ten action. I'm going to take Rutgers on the road, catching 4.5 points against Minnesota. I thought this would have been closer to a pick'em. I watched almost the entire Minnesota and Cal game from 2 weeks ago. They looked absolutely horrible. I understand this is a home game. This is Rutgers' first road game of the season. I do not care. This Gophers team is ass. Rutgers 3-1 on the year, coming directly off of a 10-point home loss to Iowa. That is expected, though. Rutgers has played Iowa now 5 times. They have never beaten Iowa. They were able to score 28 points on them, which is much more than they normally do. They average 445 yards a game on offense. Their main problem is their defense. It's not as good as normal. Normally, this Rutgers defense is top 30, top 25 in the country. This year, ranked just 60th, and they really haven't played any offensive powerhouses. They've played 2 MAC schools, I think an FCS, and then Iowa. So really no one who's going to blow the doors off you. You should be better than 60th in the country. So if there is one thing that concerns me, it would be that. Minnesota 2-1 on the year. They beat Buffalo, who is a MAC school, week 1, 23-10. They beat Northwestern State 66-0. They didn't even finish that game. Northwestern State forfeited midway through the third. Their last results was against Cal, 27-14. They let a true freshman quarterback, who San Diego State held to 0 points, go for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. They don't know how to defend the ball through the air. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the country when it comes to red zone percentage in terms of actually scoring. They can't throw the football in the end zone. The only way they're getting it there is through running. And their kicker sucks. So you don't have a team who can score in the red zone. Your kicker is also straight balls. And I don't like your coach in PJ Fleck. No thank you. Give me Rutgers plus 4.5. Minnesota shouldn't be laying this number to any Big Ten school besides Northwestern, maybe Wisconsin, just based on what I saw last week. UCLA, that's probably it. Not even Purdue. I'd take Purdue plus 4.5. Final 2 games here. We have one Sun Belt battle, and then you have whatever Oregon State is in the Pac-2, and then versus the Big 12 in Houston. First game, I'm going to take the Raging Cajuns at home, plus 1.5. This is a little juiced at minus 120, but I like it better than the money line because they're giving me 1.5. Neither of these teams are very good. I like the home team. I don't think Marshall should be laying points on the road. Their entire team left. They are a brand new squad. I don't know why they're laying points. Marshall, 2-2 on the year. They have wins against FCS school Eastern Kentucky University and then FBS school Middle Tennessee, who is absolute dog shit at football. Their losses at home to Missouri State, 21-20, who is the newest FCS or FBS school in the country. They're awful. And then they have a loss to Georgia by 28. Everyone knows Kirby Smart doesn't cover big numbers. So that 28-point loss really should have been a 45-point loss. Their offense, they only average 326 yards per game. Their defense giving up 360. This is their first real game in almost a month. That Georgia game they played was in August. So they've gone EKU, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee. None of those are real football teams. All fraudulent, all fake. They're about to get destroyed in the trenches. Louisiana, 1-3 on the year, but they could just as easily be 3-1. They have a 2-point loss to Rice on the road, and then a 3-point loss to Eastern Michigan, also on the road. So they're two decent opponents on the road that they almost won. That does instill a decent amount of confidence in me. Their win came against an above-average McNeese team at FCS level, and then they got the doors blown off by Missouri. I think they lost by 41. Basically the same stats as Marshall. They're at home. Their fan base cares. Marshall hasn't played anyone in over a month. Give me Louisiana. All right, final game here. This one's really easy. I'm going to fade Oregon State because they're horrible. Give me Houston minus 13.5. I would lay this number all the way up to 21, maybe even 28. I think they're going to win by a ton. Houston, 3-0 this year. They have wins against Stephen F. Austin, Rice, and Colorado. So really, they haven't played anyone of great skill level, but that's implying that Oregon State is good. Oregon State's not good. They've covered this number against every single team they've played, and I think 2 out of the 3 schools they have played are better than Oregon State. That would be Rice and Colorado. They're miles better than this Oregon State team. Houston averages 388 yards a game on offense. They're giving up just 224 on defense. 224. Oregon State 0-4 on the year. This is their 5th game in a row. They haven't had a bye week yet. That is brutal. Coming directly off of their loss on the road to Oregon by 34. I think they technically covered that game. Not sure what that line finished at. Didn't bet it. But they did make it reasonably close at the end. They're going to be tired. They're going to be banged up after playing Oregon. Both sides of the ball, they suck. As a team, they average just 320 yards a game on offense. They're giving up over 465 yards a game on defense. They are horrible. Give me Houston, minus 13.5. You can bet this to the moon. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.